Greetings and good day. My name is Tony Davis, coming to you from the Thought Exchange Cafe in conjunction with Devil MOE, Mastermind Organized Effort, Public Speaking Leadership Academy, in conjunction with Lena Park Community Center. This evening, the title of this show is going to be Upgrading Your Operating Frequency, or our operating frequency. I want to read a little something, so bear with me. The problem is, these easy things make life harder. They feel good at first, but over time, they lead to boredom, frustration, and regret. That's why, if you want to win at life, if you want to achieve anything worthwhile, you need to override your brain's default setting and do uncomfortable things in the short term. I'm going to read that paragraph one more time. That's why, if you want to win at life, if you want to achieve anything worthwhile, you need to override your brain's default setting and do uncomfortable things in the short term. Man's belief in God is measured on his belief in self. This was a quote by Les Brown from his video on YouTube titled Focus on You. The reason why I'm titling this show tonight, Upgrading Your Operating Frequency, is because I know for myself that I allowed the things in society to drive me, to steer me, because I lost my original way. How did you do that, Mr. Davis? I did that by conforming to those things that were bright to my eyes. I didn't understand neuroplasticity at the time. And neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change and adapt to different stimuli. And sometimes that new stimuli will draw us in. And after it draws us in, it's like an addiction. You don't know you don't know that you're addicted until it becomes too heavy. And I have to say that I fell into that addictive state at a young age. Yes, I did. And the addictive state wasn't drugs and alcohol in the beginning, but that was the pathway. That was the pathway to becoming addicted to drugs and alcohol. But before I continue to move further, I would like to introduce my guest again this evening, which is Mr. James Baldwin. Everybody give Mr. James Baldwin a hand, please. And as you can see, here, Mr. Baldwin says, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. How many times have we've had these good intentions and we started out strong and we ended up weak? And I can only focus on myself with that. Forgive my hands, I'm just getting off work, but I still need to come and deliver this message because I think this message is so important. And the reason why it's so important is not even finding, because nothing is lost. Things have been suppressed, but not lost. They're still within you. I had to go back and remove myself from people, places, and things. As they say that you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most. Now imagine this for a moment. You have someone that is focused, but then they begin to hang around certain people because maybe they've gotten bored. And they start one time, 2 times, they stop for a little while, but then they go back because they're saying it's okay. What happens after a while? Conformity. When we conform, we're no longer our original selves. We become imitators and fabricators, not originators and authenticators. Each and every one of us were created for a different path upon this planet. And there's more than one path. There's more than one way of getting to your destination. Now imagine this. You and I are in different vehicles, but we're going to the same location. But you're in a different part of town, and I'm on the other side of town. But we need to reach the same destination at the same time. Are we going to take the same path? I think not. However, we still can reach that destination at the same time. And that's what I'm getting at, why this particular show tonight is titled Upgrading Your Operating Frequency. There was a time where I didn't understand frequency. I didn't understand energy or vibration. I was blind to it. And I thought it was just something that was made up. That's what I thought. Until I was corrected. Someone said to me, Tony, do you know what you are made up of? I says, no, I don't. Organ, skin. I said, no, you're 666. And I'm like, I ain't the devil. He's like, brother, I think you haven't been doing your diligence in finding out who you really are. So I can see you don't know your power. 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons. Check it out and see. And if I'm wrong, correct me. Because I'm open for correction here at the Thought Exchange Cafe. And that's why it is called the Thought Exchange Cafe. Because each and every one of us, we ain't supposed to think alike. Because we ain't supposed to discover or create alike. Now, we can have like minds, yes. And that's where mastermind organized effort comes in. Because a mastermind is not just one person. A mastermind is multiple people coming together at the table, voicing their ideas, their opinions, their thoughts. You see? What is the best leadership? And that's a question that I'm asking you. What is the best leadership? Oh, what do you think is the best leadership? For me, I think the best leadership, and this is just my humble opinion, is thought leadership. Because there are a couple types of leadership, and one of those leadership types is title leadership, where you lead from your title. Another one is leading from a human perspective, because we're all human and we all go through some things. Every day is not the same. So you see, that's what the subject is all about tonight. Upgrading your operating frequency. Because we have to remember, we're human first. And as humans, we continue to evolve because we're supposed to continue to evolve. Just like we're supposed to continue to learn and educate. See, we got to educate ourselves because just as times are changing rapidly, technology is changing. The way they build is changing. The way people communicate is changing. We have a bunch of different platforms. We have Zoom, we have YouTube, we have TikTok, and we have AI today. AI can be dangerous if you allow it to be dangerous. But in today's element, we have to use AI to our advantage. Because as they say, if you don't stay with the times, you'll be left behind the times. Make it work for you. Because I had a fear of AI. I said that I don't want to be talking to somebody who ain't got no feelings, ain't got no emotions, somebody that truly don't understand me. And a lot of that's happening. So I'm not here vouching for it. No, because the human presence is the best presence. The human touch is the best touch. I had to come up out of the matrix. And what do you mean, Tony, you was in the matrix? I was in the believing those things that I thought I seen was real. Until I discovered that all this stuff has been made up. Made up. And everything came from a thought. Think about this for a moment. You walking down the street, and every street you seem to walk on today, you're seeing construction. You're seeing new houses go up, new buildings go up. Yeah, they're building like it ain't no yesterday. You can't even have a little driveway. You're gonna have a small house with 22 rooms. No, I'm just joking. But for real though, right? You go down the street and you're walking down the street, and every day you see what? You see overgrown bush. You see rocks, cans. You see trash in this lot. And you say, man, that's a mess. But somebody else comes down the street, and what do they see? They see a gold mine. They see a beautiful picture within their mind, within their thought process. And what do? They create. And the next thing you know, you see fences going up. You see bulldozers and backhoes coming. And next thing you know, you start seeing the foundation. You start seeing this house or this building built now. Remember, it wasn't always there. It was just a grassy, dirty field. It came from a thought. Came from a thought. The same as the Thought Exchange Cafe came from a thought. But I had to take that thought out of my mind and put it on paper. And then I had to realize it wasn't the big steps of getting here, it's them small, consistent steps. Not the steps where you start out strong and you end up weak, you see? Because we can have all the intensity in the world, but without consistency, that intensity burns off. It fades away. But consistency will keep you going. Upgrading our operating frequency. Moving from a low frequency to a high frequency and a higher vibration in order to attract those things that we desire. I didn't know that. So I was poor. Yes, I was. I was poor. And I'm not talking about poor in the pockets. I was poor in the pockets too. Okay. But I'm talking about being poor in knowledge and in understanding. See? And I heard a speaker say poor. And then they had it in an abbreviate. They had it in poor, passing over opportunities repeatedly. Why? Out of fear, lack of vision, and self-doubt. Yeah. Key. Keep educating yourself. Because as times changes, things change. We have to educate ourselves on how to stay abreast of all this new stuff. There was some of you that may think that your best years are behind you. And the only thing you can do right now is sit and wait for that last ride. I beg to differ. I have quite a few years behind me. Yes, I do. But guess what? I need to create my better years that are in front of me today. I have to get out of that negative thinking. I have to get out of that old way, how I used to frame things and frame life. I've been through some things, folks. I didn't just get here overnight. It took some work. It took some sleepless nights. It took some tears. And I don't mind saying that. I've cried many, many, many nights, praying, asking God to guide me, to lead me, to bring me up out of the darkness, being caught at the crossroads and not knowing which way to go. Yes. And I'm not unique. And I'm sharing this about myself because I know that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who went to school and school became something I never wanted to go back to because they wasn't teaching me right. They was teaching me to fail, but not to succeed. Because every time I got the answer right, it may have not been the way they was expecting me to. It was wrong. Broke my self-esteem. And I'll go a little bit more into my particular story on another episode. But just for tonight, for now, I want to say to you that I'm stretching. I'm stretching. I'm facing the fear. And part of that fear is being here in front of you. Why? Because that reasoning mind to tell me, that reasoning mind to say to me, don't nobody want to hear nothing you got to say. And what you're saying is not relevant any old way. So just give it up. Give it up. Go and do something. Go and hide in the shadows. And what I say to that voice, shut up, because you're not doing me no good. Sometimes I can be driving down the street and that negativity, those bad thoughts, those pictures of the past want to come back and be my present to predict my future, to bring about a predictable future. And ladies and gentlemen, I pull over to the side of the road. I actually pull over to the side of the road. And I go to that passenger door and I open that door and I tell that voice, get out. There's no room for you here. Not today. And I reframe that picture. And I give God thanks for saving me to serve. Because like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I've been through some things. I've been in some dark places. And it's only by God's grace and his mercy that I sit here today. All this has been given and made all possible by the Creator. If you're hearing me right now and you're going through something in your life and you think that you cannot make it another day, you may not have no money. You may not have no food. You might be strung out and strung up. But let me tell you this. I heard Les Brown say on one of his speeches, and yes, I listened to Les Brown because Les Brown brought me out of some places. And Les Brown is my mentor, amongst many others. And one day I look forward to meeting Les. One of his quotes, he said, in one of his speeches, he says, if you wake up and there's no white chalk line around your body, then you got an opportunity. You got an opportunity. For me, I've been saved to serve. I'm not here to be served. I'm here to serve. See, there are leadership roles that we all play. Whether you think that you're a leader or not, you are a leader. And the first person you have to lead is the person that you see in the mirror. That person that you got to persuade to get up in the morning. To put one foot on the floor, then the next one. You have to lead that person. See, here at the Thought Exchange Cafe, we're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about the different roles of leadership. But we're also, right, are opening up the door for others to come in and to share their views because they have something also to give. I want to learn from you. And I'm hoping and praying I have something that you can learn from me. We grow together. Because people, there's a reason why there's so many of us. Because we have to depend on one another. Even if that means you just need a sounding board. You don't need someone to say what they would do or what they would have done, and they have not stepped in your shoes. You may just need to get something off your chest. In a world full of phonies and pretenders, authenticity stands out like a beacon. In a world full of shouts, a whisper goes a long way. Upgrading your operating frequency. How do you do that? Let me tell you how I done it for myself, and I'm still at practice. I have a routine that I do on a daily basis, and it's a non-negotiable. Before I started this routine, I was all over the place. I wasn't able to, anxiety filled me. Doubt, self-doubt ruled me. Mediocrity was the street corner that I went to every day. Today, I walked away from mediocrity street. Today, I'm like I said, I'm stretching. See this steel tongue drum over here that I was playing in the beginning? I just recently purchased this drum. Why? Because I'm stepping out of that known and walking into the unknown, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to grow. Because I stayed in the known for so long and I kept getting what I was used to getting. There's more. There's more, folks. There's more. And I'm going to keep reaching. And one day I'm going to master this too. This place, I have a quiet place that I go to every morning. Before I go to work, before I do anything. And at this quiet place, I take that first half an hour and I pray. I give God thanks. And I allow that quietness to sink in, because I can think a little clearer. When I come up out of my prayer, I write in my journal, because I need to get some stuff out of here. I need to delete some things. And the only way to delete them is to put them on paper. Ideas, the only way they're going to come to be a reality, you got to get them out of your head, get them on paper, and then execute. And I had to learn that the hard way. But once I started to have some discipline and keep myself accountable, the traffic wasn't so heavy anymore. The clients weren't so heavy anymore. And I was able to say no so I can say yes to some other things. I learned how to say no to the good and yes to the best. And as we all know, time is more important than money, because you can always get your money back, but you can't get your time back. I'm going to end with this. Upgrading your operating frequency is not the easiest thing to do, but you can do it if you just step back and ask yourself a couple of questions. One of the questions I had to ask myself: am I investing more in this job and more in other people, trying to please them, than investing in the most important person, which is myself? Because who's the best investment? Who's the most valuable investment? Me. Because if I don't invest in me first, who else will? I had to begin to invest in myself and show some belief in myself with consistency over intensity for others to begin to say, hey, he's on to something. And that's the same for you. You're on to something. We're all recovering from something. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care if you're medium income. We're all recovering from something because there is no perfect human being. And if you find one, you better upgrade your operating frequency and get away. So, in ending tonight's show, I want to just let you know that reading is much, much more than fundamental. And I got a couple of notes here that I wrote down, and I write them down because I can't rely on this all the time. And I just want to share a couple things with you. Don't underestimate the power of reading. Applied knowledge becomes power. Read, reflect, absorb, and apply. Even if it's just one page a day, every day. It's like compound interest. When you look back, you're going to say, wow, I read that book. I read another book. And you're going to see things differently. Your brain is going to act differently. Your vision is going to become clearer. And those things that you desire will start to be right at your fingertips. So before I end tonight, I want to just share something with you. And this is John C. Maxwell, How Successful People Lead. Check it out. This is a book that I'm reading right now, and it's How Highly Effective People Speak, How High Performers Use Psychology to Influence with Ease, Peter D. Andrei. I may not have pronounced his name right, but this is the book that I'm reading. And it's a very fascinating book. And I believe that if you decide to get this book, you won't be unhappy with it. And no, I don't get they're not sponsoring me. No. But I know the book is very profound because it's opening up a different world for me in communication, but also being able to identify how others communicate with me. See, sometimes we got to go to the same school in order to understand where they're coming from. Because as someone said to me, once you get to know the spirit of that person, you know how to deal with that person. So thank you for joining me this evening for the Thought Exchange Cafe. And let's give James Baldwin another hand for joining us this evening. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. Think about that. Think about that. Peace and blessings.